Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Tarnika Manning, and I'm the Community Outreach Manager with the Metropolitan Chicago Breast Cancer Task Force. To learn more about the task force, please give us a call at 312-942-3368 or check us out on the web at chicagobreastcancer.org. And we're on social media on both Facebook and Twitter, where our handles are MCBCTF. You're watching cable channel CanTV 21, and we are online as well at cantv.org/hotline. During our show, we will discuss various breast cancer issues that affect women of color here in Chicago. And today we have Rebecca Fritz, who is from Gilda's Club. Rebecca's going to tell us all about all the great programs offered at Gilda's Club. All right, so welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right, so tell us about your background and your role at Gilda's Club.
Sure. I'm a licensed clinical social worker, and I'm the program director at Gilda's Club Chicago, which is our local affiliate of our national organization, the Cancer Support Community.
Oh, great. All right, so can you tell us about Gilda's Club and how it got started and how it has evolved into what it is over the years?
Sure. That's my favorite part of the story. So the comedian Gilda Radner, she had a cancer experience with ovarian cancer, and she found support through the wellness community in California. And so when she went to work in New York, she noticed that there were no other cancer support communities available for people who were dealing with cancer. So it was her fondest wish to have Gilda's Clubs open throughout the U.S. And so her husband, Gene Wilder, and her therapist, Joanna Bull, made sure that happened after her demise. So we are the fourth Gilda's Club that's opened in the country. We opened in 1998. And we have a special connection with Second City, where Gilda had performed, as you might imagine.
Yes.
So it's pretty cool.
So how long has Gilda's Club been around again?
So the first Gilda's Club opened in New York, a little bit ahead of us. So Gilda's Club Chicago has been around since 1998.
Oh, awesome. All right, so what are some of the services provided at Gilda's Club?
So we are a 4-story clubhouse in River North, and we provide space for activities and for community building. We have lectures, healthy lifestyle activities such as yoga, Tai Chi, and then we also have hospital programs where we have support for people in between appointments. So maybe they want to participate in some jewelry making and connect with others while they're waiting for an appointment instead of stressing out. And we have a satellite location also at Advocate Christ Medical Center in Oak Lawn. So we're out there.
Great. I know we deal with a lot of breast cancer patients who talk about they spend all day at the hospital because of so many different appointments they have to do between treatments and seeing other doctors, and it can be really stressful, so that's great with the hospital locations. All right, so who usually contacts Gilda's Club?
Anybody who's been impacted by cancer, anyone who feels a part of the cancer community, whether they're calling to volunteer or become a member, we get those calls on a daily basis, and we'd love more.
All right. So you remember you mentioned that you have to be a member. So what's the process of becoming a member?
Sure. So just by calling 312-464-9900 and scheduling a membership appointment, you'll meet with a staff person who will listen to what's going on for you, be able to point out some activities that might be helpful based on your preferences and your experience. And it takes about 45 minutes to become a member, and it's free of charge like everything else at Gilda's Club Chicago.
Great, and this is their website where you can go and check out how to become a member. Again, what's the website number?
The website is gildasclubchicago.org.
Great. So what are the membership options? Is there different options for people?
Sure. So we have lots of activities going on at the club, and sometimes we have someone who wants to do it all, and sometimes people want to start slowly or just do the things that they prefer to do, and all of that is fine. So that's what's discussed during those membership appointments, where we sit down and figure out how you'd like to use the club. So there's no different membership statuses, but everybody uses the club in the way that makes sense for them.
Great. So are family members or caregivers allowed to participate?
We encourage family members and caregivers to participate. Even if the person living with cancer lives in a different city, it's important for that family member or friend to get some support. So we love to have family members and friends become members.
All right, great. And that's definitely something we talk about with all our other partner organizations is the support needed for caregivers as well as family members who are trying to assist
Right.
those who are going through the treatment process or even recovery process. It can be hard for everyone.
And what's unique about Gilda's is that we have also a children and teens program. So even
Great.
children are expected and invited to become members and participate in the program.
Great, especially if you have to go to those appointments too. So
Yes.
all right. So once someone completes their treatment process, are they still allowed to participate in activities?
Absolutely. Survivorship is a lifelong thing. And so we expect people to engage and participate in the club for however long they like in whatever form they'd like to participate in. So sometimes it's a shift from a support group to maybe volunteer activities. So whatever feels right for that person, that's what we want them to do.
Okay, great. So I know most of your programs are community focused. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
So we love to go out into the community and do presentations like Cancer in the Classroom for kids who are impacted by their own cancer diagnosis or that of a family member, friend, or teacher. And then we also do something called GCC at Work, where we'll go into the workplace and talk about Gilda's Club, what we're about, why support is important, and give some insight or tips into a cancer experience at work.
Okay. Tell us a little bit more about that GCC at Work. That sounds very interesting.
Yeah, it's really neat. It's catching on. We started that about 2 years ago, and we've had more and more demand for it. Sometimes employers will call us to do a lunch and learn, so just some general education about the club as a resource. And then sometimes there's actually a cancer diagnosis going on in the workplace, and so we're able to give more pointed tips and education around cancer in the workplace and how to be empathetic and how to help someone and what considerations to keep in mind.
That's actually really great. We always talk about like how hard it is for family members and caregivers, but we never really talk about people who are just in that realm of that cancer patient, the coworker or the
Right.
supervisor, and
Right.
what to say when you're in that situation that and they're at work. So that's a great program, definitely. So,
Great, yeah.
so can they call that number if they want?
312-464-9900, and our work family is our second family, right?
Yes, exactly, definitely. All right, so tell us about the available bilingual services at Gilda's Club.
Sure, we have a Latino program manager, Jeanette Santana, and she provides program activities in the Spanish language, and then she also helps our Spanish-speaking members to engage in the larger community at the club. Coming up this fall in September, we have our Fall Festival, which celebrates Hispanic and Latino heritage, and everybody in the club is invited, and it's going to be a good time, and we're hoping to have some flamenco dancers.
All right, so when is that event again?
That is coming up in September, and you'll want to check gildasclubchicago.org for the exact date and to RSVP.
Great, great. All right, so what are some of the supportive services provided through Gilda's Club?
Sure. So our activities include support groups, networking groups. We also have general community at the clubhouse. So sometimes participating in yoga might not feel like that much of a supportive activity, but when you're seeing the same people week after week and you're bonding together and looking after each other, it really is an amazing thing.
Okay. So how many people are members right now at the Gilda's Club Chicago?
Yeah, so usually we have about 1,000 active members at any given time. Yeah, that is a lot of people, and we would love to have more. So
Yes.
our clubhouse definitely has room. Our hospital programs have room. We would love to see more and more people.
Well, definitely if there's 1,000 people, you can get some support from somewhere and connect with someone that has similar situations, I'm assuming, yeah.
Definitely, and people use the club in different ways. Sometimes it's multiple times a week, and sometimes it's once a month or once a year, depending on where they are in their treatment. So it's, for the whole family the whole time.
Great, great. So you mentioned that there was multiple locations for people to be involved with Gilda's Club. So can you tell us where Gilda Club is located?
Sure. Our main clubhouse is on Wells Street, 537 North Wells in between Grand and Ohio. We also have our satellite clubhouse in Oak Lawn at Advocate Christ Medical Center, and we have some of our programs offered within the Northwestern Memorial Hospital System, within the Rush University Medical Center, also Lurie Children's Hospital, and Mount Sinai too.
Great, great. So you guys are just a little bit of everywhere.
A little bit of everywhere.
So no reason not to get involved. So again, make sure if you are interested, you contact them and see how you can get some activities going on at Gilda's Club. All right, so what should someone expect during their first visit to one of your sites?
Sure. So the first visit can mean something different for everyone. Sometimes it means, coming through that door might mean admitting that something is wrong in the first place when someone's been really not wanting to think about it so much. Other people view it as getting support, and they're excited about walking through that door and accessing as many services and activities as they can. So we are sensitive to that, and we walk someone through the club for the first time, educating them about what goes on at the club, giving them some background, as well as sitting down and listening to their story. Sometimes it's also the first time someone has told their emotional journey in addition to talking about the medical issues that they're facing. So it's really an important moment for that person, and we take our time. We spend about 45 minutes hearing what that person needs to say, and also talking about what they need in context of what the club can provide, and finding that right match between activities. So the first time someone comes to Gilda's Club is typically a really special time, and we make sure to honor that.
So who's the first person they meet once they get there?
Yeah, so once you ring the doorbell at the Well Street Clubhouse, the door opens, you walk into the lobby, and there's usually someone sitting behind the front desk. And that person can be another member, it can be a volunteer, or it can be a staff person. And that person is always very warm and welcoming, as we strive to be every day at Gilda's Club Chicago.
Great, great, great. All right, so what are some successes you've seen from people being members at Gilda's Club?
Yeah, so the successes, oh my gosh, they're so numerous.
We love hearing stories, so go ahead and share.
So we love when people come back. If they've used the club very frequently and maybe they've stepped away, they're feeling better, they're doing other things, maybe they've gone back to work, and they come back to the club and check in, and they're very excited to reconnect with us and let us know what they've been doing, and maybe change into a volunteer status and doing outreach and talking about the experience that they've had at the club. That's a magical time for us. Other times it's just feeling connected, people saying that they haven't been able to quite express themselves in the way that they're able to express themselves, whether it's through art, whether it's through our writing workshops, whether it's through their support groups. Each person finds their own way, and I think that's the magic, is we have so many facets. Everybody's unique, and they can find a way to interact with Gilda's in a way that's helpful.
Great, great, great. So who was part of Gilda's Club's team? Yeah, because I know you're a licensed social worker, so you guys are,
We do have a clinical team, so we have licensed clinical social workers and licensed professional counselors on staff. We also have a marketing team, a development director who helps find all the private donations and private grants to keep us running. So we have that going on, but I think the most important component of our team are the members themselves. Yeah, we would absolutely not be able to do what we do without our members, and they participate in the community and drive the community just as much as any staff person. So it's all together.
Great, great. So you guys are highly professional, very experienced group of people that take you in at Gilda's Club. So who are your partners, and how do you partner with various organizations?
Sure. So our first partner is our headquarters, Cancer Support Community. So we're a local affiliate. There are various Gilda's clubs around the country, so we're able to provide people who have family out of state with resources as well, which is very nice. And then lots of local community partners and national community partners. Through our headquarters, we partner with their Research and Training Institute, where we carry out programs and do pilot studies to help improve services and resources for our members. And then anyone in the local community we are happy to partner with. We partner with quite a few for our networking groups. So for example, us too, we have a prostate cancer networking group at Gilda's, Young Survival Coalition. We have a young women with breast cancer group held at Gilda's Club. We never say no to partners.
Great, great. So can you tell us a little bit about your national headquarters again?
Sure. It's called Cancer Support Community. And what it is actually where Gilda Radner went for her treatment, the wellness community. We remerged with the wellness communities. So the wellness communities and Gilda's clubs throughout the country together are known as Cancer Support Community.
Gotcha. So totally understand now.
Yeah, good.
All right. So How does Gilda Clubs connect to community? I know you said you go out to the community a lot, so how do you do that?
Yeah, so we love going to health fairs, outreach events, through our Cancer in the Classroom program, where we're in different classrooms letting folks know what's going on, GCC at work, where we're getting into workplaces and letting folks know about the club. That is really helpful, as well as our African American program coordinator does a whole lot for our faith communities. So she is constantly a resource for faith communities, as well as our Latino program manager too.
All right, so how does someone become a volunteer?
Sure. So the 312-464-9900 number is a very helpful number. It's the only one you need to know. It'll get you to the club, and then you just say you want to become a volunteer, or you can go to gildasclubchicago.org and fill out information online to request to become a volunteer.
So yeah, we can go to the contact us, I think it is, right? And they can fill out the form.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's pretty simple, right?
Yeah, we'll get back to you as soon as we can.
Yeah, so it's very simple. You can click on multiple things.
Yeah, volunteer, donating. If you have any other questions that might fall outside of the categories, we have another. So you're welcome to ask us whatever you like, and we'll help you the best way that we can.
Or you can just call 312-464-9900, and they'll give you all the information that you need. All right, so tell us about some of the events you host throughout the year.
So we have lots of events. For our members, we have social events, quarterly socials. Coming up, I mentioned the Fall Festival, so we're looking forward to that. And then a little bit later this year, we'll have an opportunity for Santa photos for families. So they'll come in November and get their Santa photos, and they'll have those for their holiday cards. And we'll have holiday parties as well for them. We also have a wonderful associate board that does fundraising events in the community that help generate funds for us. So you'll see things around town like Gilda's Uncorked, or the Bucktown 5K. We have our Red Door Runners who give back to Gilda's as well. We also have Gilda Palooza, which just happened at the Columbia Yacht Club, so it was pretty fancy.
Yeah.
But very fun community events. And then we have our governing board who seek on a regular basis to raise funds for the club in our larger events, such as our Agents of Hope event. So that isn't necessarily something that anybody would want to go to, but definitely our associate board events are quite accessible for people, and our member events, of course, are free of charge. So we would encourage you, if you haven't checked out the club, to come to one of our social events and check it out that way. See what it's like.
You can learn more about the organization as well and have a good time.
Exactly. We know how to have a good time.
So I think all your events are located on your website as well. On the events page, you have a calendar.
We sure do. gildasclubchicago.org. You'll see all of our events in the community for fundraising purposes, and our events at the clubhouses, both Well Street and Advocate Christ Medical Center, for members.
All right. So again, we showed you where to volunteer. So what are some areas where someone can volunteer?
Sure. So that most important task of being that first person that someone sees when they walk in the front door, that's a very important volunteer opportunity for us. We want to make sure that everybody walking in feels warm, feels welcomed, and that's a great volunteer position. Also outreach events, health fairs, spreading the word about Gilda's Club and the things we do. We love for people to have the experience of participating in the club so they're able to speak to that directly. And those are wonderful opportunities for folks, as well as, volunteer yoga instructors, mind-body instructors. Sometimes we'll have licensed clinical social workers or counselors come in and dedicate or volunteer some of their time in doing support groups or different program elements. So we can find something for anyone.
So is there a training process to be a volunteer?
There is. When you call to request to be a volunteer or sign up online, you'll be scheduled for volunteer orientation. And that's done through our volunteer coordinator, Samantha Rolland.
Okay. And how long is the process for volunteers to go through the training?
It's pretty seamless. So pretty quick, pretty painless. It's about, I want to say 1 to 2 hour training, so folks can understand what we're about, what we do, who we are.
All right. So you also mentioned that members can transition into volunteers as well, right? So you can have dual roles.
Exactly. On our calendar, you'll see a Members Giving Back program element scheduled, and that's exactly where that happens.
Great, great, great. So if someone maybe not necessarily doesn't want to be a member or volunteer, how else can they get involved with Gilda's Club?
So I can hear my boss saying, donate, donate, donate. We always welcome donations. And then in terms of not necessarily wanting to volunteer or be a member, but be a part of what we do, let people know. You know, if you know somebody in need, or if you see that someone can use support or an activity, let them know about Gilda's Club Chicago. That's the best thing you can do.
All right. And who are usually your volunteers? Like, it's just broad range of people, or is it
anybody and everybody?
Yeah. So you're looking for a volunteer opportunity and want to get involved and learn more, definitely contact them. And again, how do they contact you?
Through 312-464-9900 or online through gildasclubchicago.org. Yeah.
All right, so again, here's the website again, and the number is 312-464-9900 if you would like more information on how to get involved and be a part of all the great stuff that's going on in Chicago. All right, so is there anything else that you'd like to share with our audience?
Sure. Gilda's Club Chicago is a very cool place. First of all, it's Gilda Radner.
Yes.
You know, an amazing, amazing part of our history here in Chicago,
yes,
as well as Second City movement. So please do come by the clubhouse if you're interested, if you're fascinated, if you just want to see it. Whether you have a cancer connection or not, we'd love to show you the clubhouse, just so you'll know what resource we have, especially if somebody you know needs some assistance or needs some support. They can come to the club. You can say you've been there, you've seen it, you know what it's about, and plus it's just kind of cool. It's something Chicago to do.
Yes, exactly. And there's tons of locations here in Chicago, so no excuse if you just want to stop in at one of the hospital locations. I'm sure you can get a lot of information as well at the hospital sites across Chicago, as well as the main office of the clubhouse.
At Will Street, yeah.
Yes, so definitely. And I also just encourage you all to just check out the website, because it's an awesome website. You can learn so much more about the club and all the stuff they've done in the past, and it have grown and developed into a great resource here in Chicago. So, and hear more about Gilda Radner's story and how the whole club started. So definitely reach out and look up their website. Again, what's the website?
The website is gildasclubchicago.org, and what's important to know is it's not just for women, not just for any one particular type of cancer, for everyone, men, women, children, any cancer.
Yes, and so, like, what's your youngest member?
Yeah, 2.
Yeah, so, yeah, everyone is welcome at the club, so. All right, well, thank you for being a guest. I've learned some stuff.
Great.
GCC at work is something I probably will look into, because that's something that we can probably recommend to a lot of people, because we get that question a lot, too, at the task force. So, again, all right, so, again, thank you for watching. You are watching cable channel 21, and we are online at www.cantv.org/hotline. Again, my name is Tarnika Manning with the Chicago Breast Cancer Task Force. If you would like to learn more information about the task force, give us a call. We are at 312-942-3368. We are also on the web at chicagobreastcancer.org. And you can also reach us on social media on Facebook and Twitter, with our handles being MCBCTF. Again, my name is Tarnika Manning. I'm the Community Outreach Manager with the Metropolitan Chicago Breast Cancer Task Force. We'd like to thank you for watching. Tune in again next month at 5 p.m. on the third Tuesday, where again we'll be discussing issues around breast cancer and related to breast cancer. Thank you again for watching, and have a great day.